Two quick videos and variation kind of clumps for you to learn. Obviously, bishop c4, we've only looked at bishop c5. You know, opponents can play moves like d6, but if you learn the Italian with the fried liver together, you know that your plans are this or knight to g5. That kind of goes together. Now, one of the most popular moves here at the beginner level is h6. And below 1200, it's almost like 1 in 6 or 1 in 5 games. And it's because people play knight f6 and get hit with a lot of fried livers, and they just like this move because it gives them a sense of security. The second you see this move, you go, okay, well, now I just play d4 straight away. I really think the positions from here are super easy. They're quite forcing, meaning black sort of falls into the trap of playing exactly what we want. And if you think about this position, I mean, you're basically playing a Scotch opening, which is also here on Chessly. Great course. The only difference with the Scotch is you cannot play both the Italian and the Scotch in the same game. You have to choose one. So you can learn it, but obviously you'll have to stick to one in a game. Yeah, now you're playing a Scotch. You're playing an Italian and a Scotch because black played a pretty useless move that you're now going to kind of make fun of. And now you're basically playing a Scotch, but these two moves have been included. So imagine you played the Scotch, and in this position, rather than any of the main things, black went here. I mean, it would be a ridiculous move, right? So, yeah, that's sort of the point. Black doesn't have to take. They can go here, and just like, remember the position with the bishop on c5, and then we're taking. Again, 80% of the games go here, and black loses a pawn, usually on f7 or on e5, because we trade the queen, and there's no way to protect both pawns. So the only unique thing about this position is that in the previous chapter, it was c3, and the bishop was there. That's the difference. Now the bishop is on a more active square, which actually does make this position a little bit annoying, because castling can lead to some attacks. It's not as clear as it looks, which is why here I recommend a pretty obscure sequence of moves, to be honest with you. I recommend kicking out the bishop, and if we trade everything, we're obviously very happy. We'll drop back, always defend our bishop, so you're a clean pawn up. And the best way to play here to get the biggest advantage is to pin. We've seen this concept before when the pawn goes to d6. And this interesting approach where you completely boot out the bishop and then try to castle queenside and launch a massive attack. This might be a bit obscure for some folks to memorize because, like, we never do this. This is the only time we do this. And this is already a pretty obscure line. If that's not up your alley, again, you can just play some solid moves here. You can just develop your bishop, finish up the knight development, castle the king, and be just solid, not take such a provocative approach to the game. You can also maybe try to trade the bishop. It's a very powerful and pretty annoying bishop. So yeah, that's d6, but obviously more people are going to open the position. And here we'll just sort of quickly go through these. The most common move, shockingly, is this, but we get everything we want here. And now we just develop, and castle long. I don't want to castle short anymore. I want to play long castle. If they attack us, we can drop back. And you're going to see in actually the Dark Vienna, which is another awesome course. The Vienna also an e4 opening, one of my favorites. That's just a huge weakness now. Black will never get to move that pawn forward. We will develop, long castle, start a powerful attack. You can't really play like this. And here is kind of what you go for. King is always going to b1, f3, g4, h4. I mean, you can play e5 even. You can go straight down the middle, open up the position, create some, threats. Yeah, knight takes d4. They can play knight takes d4. They can also target us, but this move loses on the spot to bishop takes f7. So you can win in 6 moves, which is kind of sweet. And if they play king takes, I mean, maybe, I should have included this, but, you win the bishop, and then you are just in great shape. If they don't take, you can take the knight, take this, whatever. You can take the knight, move the bishop back, castle. Bishop c5, bishop f7 is pretty cool. It happens actually a shocking amount of the time. This is a nice way not to lose. Here I recommend developing, keeping the tension. Most people are going to probably take. And if they wait, we do this, we castle, setting a little trap because they cannot take our pawn in the center. If they do, this is brutal. Rook e1, queen f3, their king is stuck in the center. And yeah, I think the position here is very nice. d6, rook e1, f5 is, come on. h5 is just simply game over pretty soon. In fact, it's game over by force. Both of these moves are mate on f7, and king here is mate on f7 on the next move. So, yeah, look, h6 makes sense, but if you just play d4 and play it like a scotch with the bonus move bishop c4, white just has a very, very, very pleasant advantage. h6 is nice, but you play d4, and there's really no way that black can catch up in development. They lost time, and so you can develop, you can capture. And look, if they don't fall for the bait, you know, if they just castle here, you're trying to play for e5. If they stop that, you just have a very nice position. I mean, you can play this like you've learned things in this course. You have attacking possibilities. You can put the king on h1 and launch the pawns forward. But yeah, black doesn't have to lose the game, you know, immediately all the time. But well, like what I would do here is, you know, probably play something like queen f3. They might castle. I might put a rook in the center. I might, you know, put my bishop a bit more active. Maybe h3, just so that this bishop can't really get close. And I think this is a very nice position. I might take with the pawn. Rook e1. Try to play for e5. Maybe go grab the c6 pawn. Maybe another possibility in all these positions is to drop the bishop back and try to create an attack. There's a lot of positions in the scotch that look like this, you know, and maybe you can sack a pawn sometimes. I'm not saying right now, but like sometimes you never know. Rook d1, some powerful initiative builds up, and suddenly you know, you're flying, and the position is really nice. So this is how I would play this position. But yeah, like h6 is kind of useless. It's not terrible, but it's an overreaction to something that doesn't need such a degree of an overreaction in the beginning. Okay, let's finish off this course.